very important session of today's proceedings. Leadership Development Program Session 1. This is the second day of the third day of the conference. We started on Wednesday, practically second. So, Professor Hamid Bhatt is going to be talking on the introductions as the first presenter, and then followed by myself, and then Tariq Khan Marwat, Mohammad Moeen, and then we'll have some question answer sessions. So I would request Professor Hamid Bhatt to please come to the podium and start his presentations.
Taking from Nadeem Hafiz Bhatt Sahab, who's been President Center, and we have 13 branches of the Ophthalmological Society of Pakistan. Am I correct, sir? All over Pakistan, 13 branches. And then 7 subspecialty associations like VR, glaucoma, and oculoplastics. So we would like to have that network connected with the international, educational leadership networks.
Dr. Mohammad Hamza Shahid, working as a vitreoretinal fellow at Services Institute of Medical Sciences. And why I'm here, because I wanted to learn some techniques and tricks that how to, because leadership nowadays is a whole paradigm, it's a whole domain. So how I could apply those in my professional life, and how could I solve problems using it.
All right, brilliant. And I'm so very proud on a little bit of a reflection. Both of them have been my trainees. So I'm standing here. So lucky, I feel very lucky to be here. Sir.
I'm Associate Professor of Vitreoretina at Hyderabad Medical Complex, Peshawar. My aim here is to learn the basic techniques of leadership, because we are the ones, we have to take care about the units, take care about the hospital at some stage. So definitely this learning, this course, this training is going to help us in every aspect.
Thank you.
I'm Dr. Shafkat Ali Shah, working as Associate Professor of Ophthalmology at Bacha Khan Medical College, Mardan. So aim of my presence here is that I can learn leadership, because we are living in an area where there are a lot of difficulties for the patient as well as ophthalmologist, and so that we can learn leadership so that we can provide the optimum and the best treatment to our patient, and we can develop our unit as it is expected.
Thank you. You've just joined us. Could you please introduce yourself and why are you here? You can remain seated. It's your choice.
Latif Sajid from OSP Sahiwal.
All right. And this is a leadership development program. Are you here as a participant or as a active course?
Participant.
Okay. So what do you expect from this leadership development program? How do you like that? How do you look at the leadership as such, the role of a leader in your team and yourself as a leader? Have you ever thought about it?
लीडर के लिए सर जरूरी है कि
they are international audience अपना participants, तो अगर हम सादा सी अंग्रेजी में आप बता.
leader should be responsible and understanding the program, what you are the implementation of program and understanding of program is must.
Thank you. What's up, and Moeen being the icon, over to you. Ji. And he's on the and at the moment he is on the Mount Everest.
Faculty of 300 और उसके अलावा भी बेशुमार. Anyway, thank you very much, sir, for your nice introduction of all the participants. I think different stages of your leadership career has different challenges. When I was General Secretary of OSP Lahore, at that time I was put to a challenge to hold the Asia Pacific Academy of Ophthalmology Congress as an organizing secretary. And I had no previous experience of holding an event of such a big magnitude and such a big attendance. We had almost 3,000 delegates at that time and 300 were foreign delegates. And the country was not in a very stable political situation. And the conference was from 24th to 28th of February, year 2007. And from 1st of March, we witnessed the day conference ended. The next day, we witnessed the rallies going on the front road against the government, the lawyers and the people, and so much of protest going on. And we were lucky that we finished the conference just a day before and sent off all the delegates safely back home. And so the arranging and organizing, that was a big challenge, but at the same time, that gave me a lot of experience and lot of attention given to me by the international forums. Just by, when I organized that, I came into a limelight. And Asia Pacific Academy, SAARC Academy, Afro-Asian Academy, they all sort of pinpointed me for the future, and then started inviting me for their council meetings and from other perspectives. So that gave me an opportunity to highlight and showcase the ophthalmology of Pakistan abroad. And I consider myself that was my biggest contribution in the year 2003. So it's going to be 20 years that we started this project from the platform of OSP, and we were successful that almost every part of the country, people joined us in going abroad, attending those sessions, learning how to attend a conference. That was also a big thing for us. Many of our people were wearing just a local dress, for international arena. You have to present yourself in a manner that is should be, I'm not criticizing the local dress, but sometimes you have to be, do in Rome what the Romans do. So and we have to teach them, we have to train them. And now you will see every conference anywhere, may it be an ICO event or SAARC event or Asia Pacific, our people are presenting their work, instruction courses, workshops, sessions, lectures, presentations, and so many awards have come to Pakistan since then, international awards. So Moin, Hamid Batsa, myself, and many people, many seniors and many juniors are recipients of all those awards. So these things, they come up with experience, and with the passage of time, the society, I was lucky enough to be beneficent of the courtesy and blessings of my seniors, that they pushed me further and further. And the highest pinnacle that I could reach was that they instituted a medal in my name in OSP, and that is for leadership. Another reason for me being here today is that they have instituted a medal of OSP, which is to be given to a young leader every year by the name of Professor Nadeem Hafiz Butt Medal for Leadership. So that, I think, is the greatest honor that my OSP has given to me, that they not only acknowledge and recognized my abilities, but also introduced a medal in my name. And previously, we had medals on the names of very, very senior people, like Professor Raja Mumtaz, Professor Latif Chaudhary, Professor Daud Khan, and these people. So I was made a part of that cabinet, and that, I think, is the biggest sort of my achievement, that they recognized my abilities and my efforts for the OSP. So, thank you. Currently, on the government sector, also I got selected to lead a medical college in the capacity of principal, and that's the selection process is very, very hard and very tedious. You have to go through the interviews, and your reports are taken from intelligence, from other where, no legal proceedings against you, no cases of corruption, nothing against you for the rest all of your career. For last 30 years, you should not have even a small blemish on your file. Only then they will identify you and recognize you to hold that kind of post. So that was on the government sector. I got that chance, and we are trying to build our college anew, and infrastructure improvement, human resource improvement, equipment wise, working day and night to give back that college as much as we can. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. I think that is our asset. And as I was talking of international networking, year 2007 for us was a landmark turning point in terms of linkages, as Professor Nadeem was just mentioning. Now we get on with the presentations. May I have the first, who is going to moderate, Moin?
मैं
साहब?
ही हूँ मॉडरेटर, मैं ही
आप ही
मैं
उसके
ही
बाद
मुजरिम हूँ और मैं ही
और नहीं उसके बाद
मुझसे-
आपने कहीं जाना भी तो
जी बस चला देते हैं जी। Moin is a very intelligent and at the same time a very sharp and very clever person. वो- he always gives me one topic which I have never presented before, and I have to make a new presentation, and that's a little challenging. Victims, yeah. I think every one of us is a victim of the. So he, in a way, he's building the sort of material for all future developments. Every session will have something new to offer to the audience. So today I am in a we all are sponsored by somebody, either our host organization or a pharmaceutical and something. The breakfast we had was also a little bit sponsored because the money coming in to the OSP and OSP organizing the things. So there is a sponsorship deal between OSP and the industry. So the sponsorship is now just become a normal thing. There used to be a shade with this previously, and people would think there's something bad about it, but I don't think it's bad anymore. It's a relationship between two bodies or two organizations or two individuals. Is ये चलता? So first of all, little fundamentals or baseline. What is the sponsorship? Sponsorship is a specific type of. It's actually marketing for them who is sponsoring it, not for us. And it can be used by numerous businesses to get a leg up on the competition in the marketplace. As a general rule, sponsorship marketing occurs when two brands decide to work together professionally. One brand will sponsor the other brand in some form, is a beneficiary, or it will provide some kind of service. Some examples of sponsorship marketing include charity events, performances, sporting events, or conferences like this. So you can't run these things without the sponsorship. Every conference anywhere in the world will have an exhibition, and the exhibition provides you there is a deal between the host organization and the exhibitors or the industry that they will offer a space to them, and in return they will offer some money, and that money is used to invite the delegates to run the housekeeping, to run their meals, the dinners, the social programs, their trips to historical places and like that. So all this is the joint ventures of different there is always a pre-declared budget of any company which they design for team expenses, salaries, manufacturing, and branding and investor share. So you see this AACO 2022, it's written everywhere. You'll see like this here, on the front of this, everywhere there is a branding. So we are also doing the branding. And you will see this kind of thing happening everywhere in the world. Wherever there is an event, there will be not only just branding, but also branding, Afro-Asian logo, our OSP logo, and the name of the conference, all that. Similarly, the sponsors also. Previously, we used to have two panels, one here and one here, and all the list of sponsors, like the platinum sponsors, gold sponsors, silver sponsors. Their names and their logos are here and here. So everyone sees this is something that they want, because whatever they have spent or whatever they have sponsored, they want it to be known to all the delegates, so that they keep they also keep contributing, and we also So, and this branding is in the form of advertisements and material, printed material, samples, gift, and other things that they do. Especially they are useful for such kind of activities. like our seminars, our workshops. Our OSP Saiwal is sitting here, OSP Gujranwala is sitting here. They invite us, myself, Moeen, and other people from Lahore and from other cities for a guest lecture or some kind of workshop in their own city. And our traveling and logistics, and then the participants' refreshments, they're all sponsored by any of the companies, and they arrange everything. And in the end, the beneficiary is the participant, the ophthalmologist, and they would attend that session, and they would learn something new, and they will ask questions to clarify their queries, and the speaker is there to improve their academic knowledge and their skills and their attitudes. And the beneficiary is both ways, and the company also gets a benefit that they arrange everything, and this goes into their own CV also, their own record also, that they were able to sponsor and support the academic activity. So we have certain companies here in Pakistan who would never sponsor a lucrative type of thing like a social gathering having dinner with no academics. They make sure that if they sponsor anything, there has to be something academic in it. And I like those companies because their approach is positive. They're not just spending money on something for the enjoyment or recreation. They are focused towards more of the academics, and they would support only that activity which is related with the academics. So different types are there, sponsorship, and they are research based. You know that some of the big pharma companies, they support the fundamental researches on the basic molecules. Whatever we have today, for example, if we have insulin, if we have prostaglandin analog, if we have brozolamide for glaucoma, we have antibiotics. They had trials going on for months and years. And then all the animals, then on first level, second level, then the volunteers, and finally approval. And the approval from the European board. And finally they come to the market. Who is behind all this? Their industry is behind all this. They focus their research on a particular molecule. They help the researchers, sponsor the material, sponsor the research process, sponsor the logistics, and all the money we spend. Millions of dollars are spent on one molecule. And finally they come up, nothing came out. It is found that it's not a useful thing. FDA did not approve it. And all the money that they spent is wasted. But at least they try to find out something useful for mankind. So this research is going on all over the world and is supported by various organizations. Sometimes they are not pharmaceuticals. Sometimes they are welfare organizations. Many Red Cape organization, this organization, there are many organizations. There are many people globally who have, sponsored, fixed their money for research and for education activities. Only a husband and a wife, they went to Howard and they wanted their child to be admitted in Howard. Before you try Howard, may not be correct 100%. And somehow the child could not get the admission in Howard. They said we build another university like this, and they made the Stanford. Just a person and his wife. Two people sponsored the whole thing, and it's one of the top universities of the world where so many students are getting benefit, and they're still sponsoring it. They have created a fund, and the profits will keep going to the university, to the different scholarships and all that. So these things are actually beneficial for the mankind, that rich people sponsor something for the people who are not that rich, who are deserving. If you get a molecule, if you get a drug, that drug actually is beneficial to everybody. Whether that person is reported or not reported. Some people may actually want to get that drug. This is how the world will work. So that is the important thing to discover something and do the research and find out something which is important. So these are the things which are going on in the world. And sponsorship types like dialysis going on in a patient. We have in my own hospital, we have a 90 dialysis machines set up, which goes on 24 hours a day. And the monthly expense is 1 crore rupee, 10 million rupees for running, just a running cost. And the wear and tear of the machines, the maintenance and everything, the dialyzers, that is a separate issue. the staff there, and the refreshments provided to the patients and the attendants. It's a state-of-the-art dialysis center in my hospital. And the expense is being met by just one person. He is a chairman of our board and he's a filthy rich individual, multi-billionaire. He's a textile tycoon and an industrialist. He is sponsoring the dialysis just because of one reason, that his father could not get the proper dialysis and he died. He was in Karachi. He had a renal failure. He tried to get it is about 30 years ago or 40 years ago. So the things were not developed at that time that much. So he picked up that idea that I have to do something for the patients on the same platform, the dialysis. And he developed the dialysis center. If you visit that, you will find you are in Singapore or somewhere else. It's absolutely different from the rest of the hospital. The interior, the setup, the staff, the refreshments and everything. There is a cafeteria inside which is free for the patients and the attendants. So these sponsorships are like that also. It's not just the deal between the company and the doctor giving him a foreign trip. There is something very positive about it. And you see these patients, they get the benefit. They get the free dialysis. And every patient needs a dialysis 3 times a week. Once they go into nephropathy, and we know we have plenty of diabetic patients in this country. It's one of the biggest medical issue in this country. And everyone, poor treatment, poor diabetic control, they lead to nephropathy, and then they lead to this situation. So sponsorships are beneficial, and similarly sponsorship types of personal obligations, this is something which is criticized, although this is also happening world over. And we give a disclaimer in the start of our presentation that I have nothing to do with the products mentioned. There are many people internationally I've seen, they have big pages of claimer, not disclaimer. They give a list of all those companies and the products that they were involved in the research or somehow, and they had financial interest in that. So before their presentation, they tell us openly, this is part of the ethics of the medical education and presentations. This is ethics, that you should understand that presentation on that perspective, that this man who is saying something has been involved in the original research and he was part of the all this process. If they have devised a new lens, some new formula, lyophilized lens or whatever, he was involved in its research and he was paid for that research. So they give a long list that these 10 companies sponsored me for different things. So this is something a little different. So there is something good and something bad. I don't know what we consider bad. Some people may think it's something good because they contributed something on behalf of the company or for the people. And good thing is academic activities, research based, patient welfare, and personal obligations to the extent that you just over prescription, surgeries without indications, and all malpractices, if they are being sponsored by something or somebody, they are really to be condemned. Thank you very much for your attention. Here, our next presenter is Professor Tariq Khan Marwat from Peshawar. He is going to talk on the subject of negotiation 101, and I would request him to please come to the podium.
I'm going to talk about negotiation, which is one of the part and parcel of any deal. And basically it is defined as the conversation between parties to resolve disagreements in a way which is fair and acceptable to all. Acceptable to all is underlined because whenever there is a deal, always there are some disagreements, some discussions, and sometimes some conflicts. So if properly planned, the negotiation can actually settle these differences while avoiding arguments and disputes. Negotiation is basically a give and take situation which can be best achieved through the win-win approach. Why negotiate? Why it is necessary to negotiate between the parties? Because differing needs and aims and beliefs of the people, definitely they are going to create conflicts, and these conflicts lead to arguments and resentments, and they result in dissatisfaction. And to avoid this dissatisfaction, we negotiate. With negotiation, we reach an agreement with which the future barriers to communicate or to make another deal can be avoided. So there are key skills involved in negotiation process. They include questioning, listening, and clarifying. There are different stages, at least 5 different stages of negotiation. The first stage is the preparation. There is no shortcut to preparation. The first stage of any negotiation is preparation, which is practically often neglected. There is a renowned saying by Franklin Benjamin, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So there are 6 different points involved in this part of negotiation. Should I be negotiating? What I need to know, how to organize information. Second point is, who are the players? Who is the ultimate decision maker? And who are the stakeholders? What are the facts bases? And what are the standards? After these 3 points, keeping in mind, we have to reorganize data, anticipate what will happen, and assess strengths and risks. Identify goals, desired outcomes, best alternatives, and possible concessions. We have to plan to build trust and prepare for emotional reactions. The next stage in negotiation is information exchange. To engage the other side, share information, explore options, and make assessments. Different types of assessments which are being made at this stage of negotiation include trustworthiness. Are they honest? Is the other party dependable? The competency. Are they credible and capable? Likability. Can you work together? Alignment of interest. Are your interest aligned with the other party? If your assessment is negative, you can make adjustments or implement alternatives. But if your assessments are positive, you can move forward. Next stage is the key stage, which is that of bargaining or negotiating in a proper sense of word, which is give and take situation. And success does not mean all take and no give. This is important point to keep in mind while negotiating with any party. To build a lasting relationship, bargains should satisfy both parties. To be trusted, you must be genuine. Emotions can help or sometimes hinder the progress in the deal. Tuned communication, know when to stop talking. Listen more, talk less, choose your words carefully. Watch the body language and speech patterns of the other party. Always have a strategy. First offer is usually the most important one. Make your first offer aggressive and more attractive. The fourth stage of negotiation is conclusion, which is the point of reaching to an agreement. Once an agreement is made, a comprehensive summary of the agreement should be recorded in writing. lock in an agreement. Never forget to thank the other party for their willingness to negotiate even when no agreement is reached. Next stage of negotiation is execution, which is the implementation of the agreement. Follow the promises made in the agreement to strengthen the relationship and build the trust. This execution leads to easier negotiation for next time with the same party. There are different tips and skills involved in the process of negotiation, like listening skills, analytical skills, communication skills, persuasive skills, and problem solving skills. And definitely we have to be more professional and more patient while making the decisions in the process of making a deal. In conclusion, negotiation is a strategic conflict. Sense of timing is crucial for successful negotiation. And in life, we do not get what we deserve. We get what we negotiate. Thank you very much. And I invite you all for our next coming Khyber Icon. It is going to held from 10th to 11th February 2023. Thank you.
Dr. Shabana, yes? Question, yes? Mic there.
Well, it depends on situations. It's not something standard that you can find that time to come out of that comfort zone. Every deal will be having a different timings for negotiation, for that assessment when to come out of that comfort zone. It is a process that you actually follow. I mean, we are just giving you some hints. Rather, you always you always decide your own at different deals when to negotiate and when to. Is it correct?
Excellent focus presentation. But having lived through leading the Service Institute of Medical Sciences and the comfort zone that you're talking about, there are socio-political forces always operating around you. And it is basically by definition conflict resolution. So conflicts do not respect your comfort zone. They come. So that's the most important lesson that you have to learn in life, is that you have to follow all those principles of negotiation because you've been thrown into unsteady waters. And that's where your negotiation skills start operating as a bottom line.
Thank you very much. हाँ जी बिल्कुल.
So in my view, while negotiating, you always have an entry strategy and an exit strategy.
Yes.
So you start negotiating at the entry level, and you should know before negotiating what is your exit point, and beyond that point you do not go while negotiating.
Yes, Carl.
And I would just say that, excuse me, my voice is not very good. If you don't ask for something, you won't get it. And so as a chairman of a department, sometimes I'm impressed with my faculty who come and say, I'm not unhappy with this, or I'd like this. And we negotiate. But if you don't, I think it depends how important it is to you. And the worst thing that can happen is they say no. But the best thing that can happen is you get something that you didn't think you were going to get. So I think it can be difficult to come out of that comfort zone. And I think if it's something really minor, maybe it's not worth it. But if it's anything other than very minor, it can't hurt to ask.
So negotiation, I think, is a very important thing. Dr. Shabana, can you give an example of the best negotiation? When do you start negotiating? If you take somebody's age, what is the first? When did you start negotiating first in your life? Yes. So what was your first negotiation?
I wanted to buy a toy, a doll.
So did you win?
Yes,
Yes.
I did.
How?
By blackmailing my father.
And crying?
No, I emotional blackmailing. I didn't
Emotional
try.
blackmail. So you had a strategy lined up for you. So it's inbuilt in you. So it's inbuilt in everybody. It is such a thing which is there in every. But as you grow older, over time, you have to decide, if I'm sitting in this deal, do you want to make it a win-win deal, a win-lose deal, or a lose-win deal? Have you ever made a deal in which you lost but you still won? हम तो रोज अपनी बेगमात से कर रहे होते हैं, अपनी हार शो करके जीत रहे होते हैं. जो other way around. Yes, the world is changing. अब men in ophthalmology आने वाले, because the women era is coming. Yes, definitely. So, और ये है, and the other thing which is very important is one word is BATNA. Best alternative to a negotiating agreement. What does that mean is, just like he said, you should always have an exit strategy. Exit strategy is actually another solution which you have in your mind. You don't show it on the table. You come in, you sit, you negotiate, but you know that this is the exit. That is a BATNA which you go, just as Carl was saying, you ask like for 10 OCT machines. You know you're going to just get one, but you ask for 10, maybe you can get 2. So your best alternative to that would be, if he doesn't agree, I'll just agree to 2 or 3. So that is something which you keep in mind. And as Professor Hamid was saying, as you sit in bigger seats, you have to make these decisions. You could be sitting the other way around. So one person who's asking for it and other person is who's giving it. When you're in a giving seat, then you have another strategy. Know that he's asking for 10, I'm only going to give 1. And there's another thing which you go in, as we're talking with people, that if you go around for shopping, there's another strategy which is called haggling. So you go in, and if you go in some countries, they might ask you they might start with 1,000 and you might buy the things for 10 or 100. So what is their strategy in their mind? Like if you ask for something higher, that he will come up with some sort of an upper price for something which is at a lower price. But if you start for a price, like the price is 100, you just ask for 120, probably you might end up in 80. But if you ask for 500, you might end up in 200. So this is something which comes in everyday life. So negotiation is happening, but you need to learn how to twist it around to your advantage. Usually it is better to end up in a win-win deal, and most times. So that is where you should have your exit plan aligned up. Yes.
Negotiating with ladies when they're shopping. and that is also a very interesting negotiation situation. But I think at the end of the day, the strategy that he was talking was you have to give and take. I think that is the bottom line in any negotiation. And it all depends on the authority that you have been vested in. There are 3 things that you carry with you when you're in a chair. And the mnemonic for that is PIA, Pakistan International Airlines. So power, influence, and authority. And all 3 have little different shades. So you're exercising one of these paradigms when you're sitting in chair and negotiating. So there's certain things that you negotiated from position of power. There are certain things that, like Professor Latif Chaudhry has a lot of influence now. He's the patron. And if he says anything, we have to do it. You know, that's influence. But that influence has a coupling of power and authority with it at the back. He's worked for this organization for the last 40 years. And he was in chair as a professor of ophthalmology at a unit. So that's how power, influence, authority are intertwined in a role as a leader. And that's what you play when you are in a negotiating situation. So you should know where you are sitting and where you are actually operating from. From where are you drawing your strength to negotiate? And the body language and the emotional content for you and for the other person is the most important thing to watch. Because if you are emotionally not in control, then you have lost the game. And at times, in a very, as you talked of comfort zone, in a very heated argument, you get emotional. And that's where the other person can win from you if he is strategically well placed.
And as you know, Professor Hamid has been in very difficult situations. Sometimes the people sitting in the other team are there, some members are there to just provoke you, to get you on the tip to the other side so that you make a wrong decision. So you have to be very careful who's sitting and what he's playing with. The power games, as you can see in politics, what happens. So I don't have to say much about those things, but it is something which you learn and grow and you understand every day. But the main thing is, if you keep it win-win, and whenever you have power, influence, assertion, what is your bottom line which will make it acceptable for others? That is your ethical decisions. Is it according to the norms of the society? Is it sort of equally distributed to people? Then it will be acceptable to everyone. But if it is not, then initially they might accept it. It might be an autocratic decision, but eventually there will be a revolt against it. So that is the way it goes in that. So let's see. My topic is SWOT analysis. How many people have heard about it? Very good. Everybody has. So do I need to teach anything? No. So what is SWOT analysis? AIM. So this is something which is used in business. So we'll just, if everybody knows about it, we'll go on to some workshop or sort of some discussion on how it is used and what it does. So it's a technique that enables a group of individuals to move from everyday problems and traditional strategies to a fresh perspective. It looks at strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So if I ask somebody, whosoever wants to volunteer, that have you used SWOT analysis? Can you give me an example of when you used the SWOT analysis the last time? Carl is going to give one.
Every year we do a SWOT analysis of the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats in my case, the Department of Ophthalmology. But every chair has to do it. And then I have my annual review with the dean next week. And I will present him my SWOT analysis and discuss the various issues.
So as Carl very nicely pointed out, so he's a team leader, he's an organizational head. So he's doing a SWOT analysis to evaluate what is currently happening and how you can improve that. Can somebody give me an example on a personal level? Have you done a SWOT analysis for something you do every day or once a year? Private practice. So what's your SWOT analysis on that?
Yeah, how efficient are the workers? What are the costs? How we are going to improve this? What makes patients unhappy? We are losing patients.
Right. So that's another SWOT analysis. That is when you are working as controlling your own organization, which is slightly limited. So either you might have a small organization, you might have a bigger organization. SWOT analysis can be done for that. Any other example? Your domestic, like?
When my brother got married, and there was the change in the position of being a sister-in-law and the sister-in-law, and the place in a house, and that was where I had to assess my place, my weaknesses, my strengths, to overcome my sister-in-law?
That's a very interesting question. That raises a question to me. Yes. So that important. Can I ask one question? How many of you did a SWOT analysis before getting married? Would you, if you are given a chance, would you do it again? So it is something which is very important. SWOT analysis gives you an insight of what is available. It is usually mostly used by business organization. The technique was credit to Albert Humphrey, a research product at Stanford Universities in the 1960s and 70s. Planning tool to understand strengths, weaknesses, threat involved in projects and business. So used as a framework for organizing and using data. So if we take two things, it can be divided into strengths, which is the internal environment, and the weakness is the internal environment, while the opportunities and threats are the external environment. Usually sometimes we confuse the things together whenever you're doing. Sometimes the strengths always looks like an opportunity. So we have to sort of delineate between the two things. So let's see. So strength of a business or team that gives an advantage over the industry. So I'll just take a business model as they ran it, and a business model. It gives positive and tangible attributes, beneficial aspects of organization. So what are the strengths and weakness? So what strength can anybody give the strength of SWOT analysis on what they did? What were their main points and looking for a strength? Suppose you are lucky and today you got a letter from Harvard that you've been given an admission for the application you sent in. So you're doing a strength analysis on going to Harvard. So what are the strengths? Ivy League. So it's something which has got an authority. So that institution, what institutional strengths does it have? Ranking, solid curriculum, good faculty, prestige. Yes, so you as an alumni, you can do a lot of more things. You can network with people more. Green card. So nationality, immigration is another nationality. Another opportunity. Find a wife. That's a good one. Anything else? So those are the major strengths which you look for in an organization. So does the organization has abundant strengths? That means that Harvard has got good funding, and obviously if you go, the environment is going to be very conducive. They'll have every facilities which you need, the IT support and everything will be there. Obviously, everybody said there's a big brand. Whenever you go a brand, you are branded to that brand as well. So a lower cost, so superior management talent, probably that comes in that. And do they market themselves? Yes, they do. A good distribution of still committed employees? Yes. So they've got a system which works for everybody. So if it's such a good organization, will it have any weaknesses? Every egg can crack. So any weaknesses, do you think, Harvard? Amish, can you think of anything? So it's very difficult to get admission there. So can you survive there? Financial burden. Obviously, if this is such a big ranking, it will be very difficult to get into that organization. That is going to be a very difficult entry into that organization. So you'll be looking for scholarships. Visa problem. If you're going to another country, international country, that is another issue. And if you're a government servant, that is there's another thing. Will the government give you permission? Anything else? Your family might be separated if you're living, so you might have to leave that. That is another thing. But so I think one is social change of the social environment is very, if you're living here, you go to environment of a Western country, sometimes some people adapt very easily, some people get a culture shock, and some people are sort of, they get absorbed too much in the other culture that they forget they were here to learn something. So anything else? As an organization, Harvard would have what other weakness? Internal politics, yes. Suppose you're going to a program which has got a problem in the faculty, and that program might not be a good program. So you have to look for that thing. So racial discrimination is one thing. You might become a minority over there, and then you might have those problems. So those are the things which you think of as strengths, and these are the weaknesses. Very good. So so this is something which we have already discussed. Let's go on to the opportunities. Opportunities are, so these are something which are external. So now we talked about that Harvard has. So now what we'll talk about is the opportunities and threats. These are something which is the external environment, which like United States might have an external problem with Harvard or their integration, or the world, people living around internationally might have give them some opportunities, and they might have some threats to them as well. So opportunities are chances to make greater profits in the environment, arise when an organization can take off benefit of conditions and should be careful and recognize of opportunities. Usually, if you take the stock market as such, usually you will see there are some things which are opportunities. Like if we say that the market, initially when you had the COVID, the markets went down and the lending at that level was a very low level. The mortgage rate was very less. So that was an opportunity to buy or sell your stuff. Buy. So that is an opportunity. The external environment made you buy. But now when the inflation has gone high, the government is increasing the interest rate. Now is the threat for you to sell that thing. So now you can, whatever you bought, probably it's an opportunity to sell at this time, but it is a threat to buy now. So it becomes the opposite way around. And suppose if the government put some regulations, you were supposed to buy a car, and suddenly the government imposes a CBT, another tax on that car. So that becomes a threat to you to buy. A new policy might have a threat to you. So what are the opportunities that Harvard can give you in leverage for yourself whenever you go over there? What opportunities will you get when you go to Harvard? Job opportunities, because they've got a very good faculty and they have got people around the world and they've got good credibility. So you get a reference from that place, you're going to get a good opportunity to go forward in your career. Yes? Any other opportunity you can get? Yes, because when you come from an area, from a university which is more credited, so whenever you come, you become a more powerful person in society, that you have linkages and you've done education from that area. So you are regarded as a person who is a very high level of intellect. So that gives you, people listen to you more. Yes. Yes, so you can, if you want to go to a higher opportunity, so that's another opportunity that you can get into a further education, which is at a higher level. But like suppose if you did education at a smaller institute, people might not consider you. But obviously if you've done something from a higher university, that becomes a bigger opportunity for you. Any other thing? So those are the major opportunities which you get. So we talked about, so these are the economic things. If you look at business, so you can have economic boom, sort of government deregulations, as we discussed, the interest rates going down. So then sometime the opportunities might be, this is, if you're working another environment, we'll discuss that, but we'll just take this as such. So the threats, what threat can you have if you are going to an institution which is far away from you? What external threat can you get? Yes. So that can be a threat. Socialization issues. Loss of sponsors. Right? Yes. So that's a threat, right? Yes, that is another threat which you can get. That can be sort of weakness as well of the system which you're going. But if we think about external factors, like for opportunities, we said this is something which is going to give a further opportunities. Does Harvard give you a threat? I trained from Cincinnati, and the person who was there, who was a chairperson, he said, I chose you because I know after graduating, you're not going to practice in Cincinnati in front of my office. So you cannot get, if you want to get a job in Harvard, that might be a threat for you. Yes, that's a threat. He might be intimidated. Sometime when I came here, some people might, so he's too good at this thing. So I'll place him at a lower level, and I will not give an opportunity to grow up. So that will keep me at, so this is something which happens very, very, very common, and people who are coming from abroad, that happens to them quite often. So that is a big threat to them. So if you go to a big place, coming back, it's going to be a big threat that you are not acceptable in the society as much. Dr. Shabana को शादी के ऊपर आप बताएंगे इसके? Okay.
Only my name. The card, it was supposed to be a family sort of invitation. So when I went back home, I said to my wife that I got a card for the dinner and I'm going. So there was an immediate threat. A WhatsApp message was sent. Next day we had the card, Mr. and Mrs. But so the threat was very, very potent.
So these are the basic themes of what you do in a SWOT analysis. So examples we've already helped. So this helps you to make decisions. I think whenever you're going shopping, you're on sitting, looking at stuff, you're doing SWOT analysis at the same time. You're going to buy a car. You're going to sort of choose a school for your children. You're always doing, but make it a habit. Put things down. So you need to do a situational analysis of internal factors, external factors, and then divide them into strength, weakness, threats and opportunities, and then you come out with a plan. That is how you make a safer decision when you are a leader. So that is, I think, the key to it.
I think also whenever you are for interviews for career positions, when you're sitting across the table with the advisors and selectors at the other side, you're always supposed to rate yourself. What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? I think that's the most important thing. So you must reflect, because you have to go on ascending career path. So you should make a note of your strengths, and they should be on your fingertips. And then you should know your weaknesses also, because nobody or none of us is perfect. So once you know your strengths, that's what you sell, and that's what makes you qualify for the position. And each one of you has a strength. And God is so kind that you have more strengths than weaknesses. And that is why you survive in your careers and your families. So know your strengths, polish them further, like attending this workshop makes you much more aware and equipped mentally. And at the same time, work on your weaknesses to shift them towards the strengths. So that interplay between the strengths and weaknesses on a scale of 10 maybe would be a good rule. And if you go in an interview and if you say, I have only strengths and I don't have any weaknesses to work on, then you probably have self-awareness which needs to be looked into. So I think these small working terminologies are important for young people to take them from here.
So I think, Hanji.
and ask for some suggestions or opinions. And the leader, the mentor, said that go for your dreams. At that time, how to decide? Opt for your dreams.
Imagination. And if first you imagine something, you did imagine somewhere that you just can't say that you didn't want to be a pediatric ophthalmologist. You just can't say that. Somewhere you dreamt, you planned, and then you converted it into reality. So dreaming is not daydreaming, is actually planning for a future. And Professor Karl would bear me out. The last time you were here, you were attending a conference on uncertainty. The whole conference was designed how to handle uncertainty. And that is also future planning. The world is now talking about how do you plan your future as a person, as a society, as an organization. So, and there's a lot of things that you're groping in the dark. You don't know what's going to happen. There are multiple scenarios that you're playing. In life also, so many things go wrong. But the most important thing is to get going, make the effort. I think success and failure are part of the same coin. You have to fail to succeed. You just cannot succeed without failure. And failure is the best teacher, I can tell you. From my personal experience, and for all leaders who are sitting here, you have to fail first. And I saw a very good mnemonic for fail, F-A-I-L, first attempt in learning. That's it. So I think the SWOT analysis, and Moin's is phenomenal in the sense that he keeps poking. Sometimes he throws a talk to you and I refuse him. Frankly, I say, I don't have time. I'm not going to come. That's it.
So then I send him a prepared talk on the same topic.
and then I struggle with the talk. What to do about it? So I think he's a gem of a man. So that's how you link up with each other and you draw on each other's strengths. You won't do certain things if you don't have somebody doesn't ask you to do it. There are so many things that you do because somebody in your teacher, trainer said that you must do it, and you do it. So I think that's where linkages comes in. I will close that on a talk. I was doing my FSC, and my teacher used to say, "You are going to top the board." And I said, "How can I do that?" He said, "You have to do it. We don't know that. You have to do it." So each one of you has a lot of potential, and that potential needs to be cashed in. And nothing is impossible.
Yes, very good. Thank you very much, Professor Hamid. Another thing which about weaknesses, when I was doing going for interviews for residencies in the United States, you do a lot of research and you come up with things, and you learn quite a lot. And the thing which was important, which you learn, is what is the biggest trap in a residency interview by the person who's going to take the interview. He just asks you one question: what are your weaknesses? And if you fall for the trap, you had it. Karl, do you agree? But initially I failed. But then I learned about it. Then you do research. What they say is, suppose you said, so if you say, what are your weaknesses? Yes, I get nervous when I'm in a stressful condition or when the patient is difficult. So you fell for the trap. So now they know that that person cannot handle difficult situation. Their strengths in their weaknesses. So they'll say that my weakness is my punctuality. That I am very meticulous in doing things. That is why I try to do things in a longer time, so that you change it into another way so that it becomes your strength and you still answer the question and you're not falling for that trap. So that is something which I learned. So this is very important for you if you go, and if I'm sitting in front of you as an interview, if I ask that question, don't fall into that trap. Thank you very much. So we'll, I think, start 10:30 for the next part of the session. Thank you very much. I think we can have a group photograph of all the LDP session